for the second half. All refreshed by alcohol and whatever poison is. We're going to start with, we've got 7 open mic contributions in this half. So we're going to start with Mr. P.R. Murray. Thank you.
I'm a suburban poet, so my first poem is about gardening, and it's called Total Gardening. If you have the money, why not spend it creating your very own miniature totalitarian state in your very own garden? Surround and secure your territory with hedges trimmed into regular, rectangular configurations. Install wrought iron gates to control all migration. Only allow grass to grow in designated lawns and nowhere else. Ensure each blade of cut grass is exactly cut to a uniform length, and that everyone is of the same species and colour. AstroTurf is not an acceptable substitute because it would not involve making living things submit to your will. Arrange other selected purebred plants at precisely equal intervals in borders that are made in accurate geometrical shapes. Only squares, parallelograms and triangles will do. Use fire, iron, chemical and biological means to eradicate all intrusive plants, insects, invertebrates and other creatures. Install automatic security lights and video to enhance surveillance. The sky may still be unruly and the weather unpredictable, but just ignore them and gloat over your new horticultural order. Okay, and this next one is a true story. It's called The Lucas Plan, and I hope it's more or less self-explanatory. Okay. Factories in Willesden, Birmingham are not where you go unless you got paid to build parts for bombers and tanks, for this is where these were made. And those who made those weapons knew what the things they made could do to men and women like them. But then again, you must sell what you can sell to pay for food and a roof as well. The system that sets a worker's price isn't ever kind or nice, and in the case of Lucas Aerospace, compassion had no place in such calculations. So redundancies were the fix applied in 1976, and yet the workers' unions would not comply. We can still work, they said, and they asked why they could not now make machines not intended to kill and burn. We could design the blades that turn with the wind to make clean power, devise car engines that make fewer fumes. We could be building kidney machines, be saving lives, not taking, and none of this were just wild dreams because they built the prototypes of socially useful technology, but management refused to see, and only words and sympathy came from Labour and the TUC, so it all amounted to a might have been, but one that some still remember to remind us what we could have seen. Instead of planetary destruction driven by greed, a world where workers control their work and produce for human need. Thank you.
Murray, PR will be a featured poet in our return on the 26th of September, if you want to hear more of that. So, our next contribution this afternoon comes from Rosemary Norman.
There's been loads of writing around Orpheus, and this is called Orpheus, and it mixes up a bit. Offenbach and Legbelly. Orpheus. When he gets out of jail, he won't go palely loitering on Keats's hand. Orpheus. When he gets out of jail, he won't go palely loitering, he'll go straight to town, make her see sense. Her name's Irene. In Greek, it means peace. But she'll say no. Did she see him dither, not sure in the smoke, the din, the toss of frills and feathers and flawless high kicks, which garter was hers? Poet, she'll snap, look round, I tell you, I can have my pick, if a poet was what I wanted. She'll jerk a thumb, it's that way to the river, go and cool off. He will. Good night, his head will sing. And this is Stuart will know what this is. It's in the voice of a former neighbour of mine who we used to hear through the wall, didn't we?
Boris Johnson.
Actually, I could probably get home out of Boris Johnson. It's called Counting to 1,000. If I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times, she says, whatever it is she's told me. Please do this, don't do that, don't do anything, don't not do anything, don't just stand there doing nothing. Oh, get out of the way, she says, but doesn't tell me what the way is that I'm in, because I would try, I would. Haven't you got anything to say for yourself, she says, and it isn't a question. She isn't looking for yes or no, let alone to hear me count 10 for her, over and over, not to say something we'd regret, and so on, up to 1,000.
Thank you, Rosemary Norman. Nice to have you back in. And now, Leanne, please.
I'll read a poem about the Great Famine in China that broke out 60 years ago in 1959. I'll read it in Chinese first, and then I'll read it in English. It's called Cooking Secret. 炖觉肯定又老又硬，用小火慢慢煮，像煮山羊。娘，别说了，喝口树皮汤。你喝，人儿回家会骂人的，别跟他说。村里人叨叨，树皮扒光，草根吃完，观音土都没了。俺老了，没几天活头，他爹在等俺，照顾好俺儿子，肉和皮都给他，一家大小靠着呢，骨头给你，熬汤，出生的等你下奶。俺想心还是软的，炖吧，给孩子。It will be hard and tough. Keep fire low. Simmer it like a goat. Stop it, Ma. Sip some bark soup. You have it. Your son will tell me off when he's back. Don't tell him. Villagers say all the trees are bare, grass roots gone, and Buddha clay finished. I am old, not many days left. Your da's waiting for me. You look after my son. Feed him muscle and skin. Our family depends on him. You have the bones. Boil your soup. The newborn needs your milk. I guess heart is still soft. Stew it for the children. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Leanne. And now I'd like to welcome John Hurley, please.
I think affairs end in one of three ways. Some are civilized, some can be silent, and some have a lot to say. And this is, I call this final notice. Words spewed like ham from a slicing machine. Hysterical, harsh, and ever so mean. We had been in love. We had planned to elope. And now she was reading my sad horoscope. She said, you are just a wild drunken rake, so slow to give and eager to take. You are cold, aloof, and ever so grim. And your foreplay consists of brace yourself, Kim. You treated me like an old lily rag, then behaved in bed like an old rotting stag. You have broken my trust in the whole human race, and for you in my future there isn't a place. I'm tired of your lies and your blatant deceiving. You leave your keys in the hall when you're leaving. Now with anger like that, there is no way back. So I put my possessions in a plastic bin sack. She opened the front door and shouted, just leave. There was no hope at all for a last-minute reprieve. No sign of sorrow as I crept away. I think she had nothing more left to say. My number's deleted from her mobile phone. I've joined an army of singles out here all alone. I'm cold and dejected. No career, home or wealth. But I have to continue to play the cards I'm dealt. Thank you. 3 years ago, there was a little boy washed up on the shores of the Mediterranean called Alan Caddy. Most people have forgotten about him now. But it was 3 years ago, and it was quite sad at the time. And there's a few lines in it. I call it collateral damage. Rocked in Neptune's cradle for his final hours, now discarded on the beach, no mourners, friends or flowers. Just another nameless person, a lifeless broken reed, deposited like jetsam, fleeing terror and man's greed. Somewhere this little body, a mother's arms did enfold, as a dodgy ferry foundered, caused by the owner's lust for gold. It is called collateral damage. This child without a stain. He's like truth, another casualty. Hope the warlords can explain. Will fighters claim a victory? Do they care who they betray? Why do the gods' mills grind so slowly? Does he listen when they pray? Still, the refugees cross water, knowing it's dangerous and wide, and we have a compassion bypass to bodies washed up by the tide. We all came out of Africa. Is this just a repeat? Has our meddling there caused havoc? Or could it be the heat? We have learned nothing from the past. If anything, we're madder. Still a case of blow you, Jack, and let's pull up the ladder. Thank you.
That couldn't be more relevant after the photograph of Rio Grande appeared last night. So now I'd like to welcome Aidan Nutbrown.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is a poem based on it is a true story. It's happened to me and my brother. It's a poem about the search for the nature of truth. It's called called Visions at Glastonbury Abbey. Heroes are born and all heroes die. Legends are consecrated to last forever, enduring in faint clouds of uncertain memory. The English landscape has an arcane heart, the Abbey of Glastonbury, averred resting place of King Arthur, the once and future king. Arriving, we pause to consider the Abbey ruins, absorbing history rather than reading well-presented rhymes of visitor centre, guidebooks and myth. September air of sweet afternoon, our autumn minds drift into twilight's slow fade and gaze to faraway valleys, and away to Wherry Hill, where Joseph of Arimathea, legend of Avalon, walked these Somerset levels, companioned by the boyhood Jesus. There is truth in trees and rocks and mountains. Rivers run sure across these tangible lands, but truth in legends, like drops of water, trickles impure through ancestral hands. The Benedictine Abbey monks, so conventional wisdom tells, fake the grave that we now seek, inspiring England's dreamers to dream. What dreams? Spinning pilgrims' heads with threads so cheap. Away, away! A trembling, a frisson, a murmur on skin. Feel something ethereal is planted herein. Unconstrained shimmer, O garden of wonder, come closer. Deeper we wander, now by the chapel, the sacred plants, the Glastonbury thorn, its mescaline purples, iridescent diaphanous. It only grows here and in Jerusalem. Is the thorn living proof of that ancient visit of Jesus and Joseph of Arimathea? Did they walk the hillsides of this English landscape? Was Jerusalem ever builded here? Tuscan skies of tempera blues, doves of Della Francesca, coo us on to the higher ground, and behold, across his grave, can it be? Here lies Arthur, Lord of Avalon, the once and future king. Disturbing the peace, a scientist, an archaeologist, is surveying the unforgiving ground. His radar technology is no better than a spade. Is he afraid of the ghosts to be found? The half-moon grey jewel companioned by the first bright star of evening. I'm always surprised by the daytime moon, the delight of the Julian sky. How does the moon wane? How do the stars appear? Explain it any way you choose. It won't change what I see. Direct insight is universal. Stars rise and fall eternally. The archaeologist steps aside with an indignant glance. Was our discussion too mystical? He's fixed in his beliefs. So little does he know that we can summon miracles. Overtone chanting resonates, a twist inside the chemistry of the brain, and then a drop of psychedelic across the morphic field triggers a most fundamental change. I am alive. I can see everything now. All that ever is echoes, like voices echo. All that ever was echoes, like memories echo. O cloud unfold, synesthesia behold. Words become solid and the colours of sound, recollections once lost and memories gone are now found. The sunlight streams flow in psychic reflections that combine with ripples in time and visions of dark ages lost long, long ago are visioned here in my mind. I see the real world extended, transfigured in words, our ruined abbey remade, magenta strands whisper, infused in unravelling light and his holy name, King Arthur. I can see the walls that fell centuries ago. I can see the ghosts of the remains. I see all the visual echoes, and I walk over ancient ramparts. I see Roman soldiers marching. I see echoes of centurions. I see them all advancing in time. And I see the one who wears a Celtic cross, a leader, a legend, a great bear of a man. I see him, the once and future king. O poets, defy their attempts to debunk this story. Preserve our ancient memory, those words once whispered in the unforgiving ground. This land breathes upon its history. For is there anyone who dares to say that they themselves have seen King Arthur advancing to Avalon, here beside his queen? And is there anyone who dares to say that they themselves have seen the holy Lamb of God, on England's pleasant pastures green. Thank you.
Thank you for that honesty. Thank you, Aidan. And now, please welcome back to Dodo and Vaughan-Williams.
A few years ago, I climbed this rather difficult waterfall, the waterfall. A thunderous noise comes from the waterfall. Up the rocky side, steps invite me to climb. A railing gives a handhold, sharp with cold, for this rift drops from the glacier above. Through trees that cling, the summer sunshine flickers. I mustn't be defeated. The way grows steep. I won't allow defeat. My senses almost numbed by the dinning falls, tumbling and scouring rocks hidden from sunshine. I keep on going. It's not that hard a climb. Turning a corner, a cliff closes in from above. Buffeted by the wind, I shudder with cold. My body aches, caught in a clamp, so cold. Need to turn back, but that would spell defeat. To run away from the force that towers above. Stooped, keeping steady along the waterfall, on the path chipped from rock, I keep on climbing, cheered by glimpses of blue sky, sunshine. It's a day for walking the hills all bathed in sun. Inside this gorge is icy cold. I stop to catch my breath. On I climb. Could not turn back. I shout against defeat, voice drowning in the clangor of the hurtling falls, water surging over boulders from above. No one can see me from below or above, where trees and bushes bask in brilliant sunshine. The harsh way twists and turns with the waterfall rolling from the glacier. I'm blue with cold. The noise envelops. The steepness defeats me. I will hang on. I am doing well. Such a climb. I stay the course. Will not forget this clamber up the zigzag sides of the split rock. Above, a dark tunnel appears. I still the echo of defeat. Continue through darkness into sunshine, the effort warming me. Not so cold. See, a flight of steps at the source of the waterfall. A fall worthy of the effort of the climb. I feel so cold, but light filters from above. I blink in the sunshine, undefeated. Thank you. Can I just read one poem?
Yeah, of course, yes.
Yeah. In the children's playground. She runs ahead on the path, her father jogging alongside. Her feet never trip. She is running into freedom, into the future, into joy. No one is curbing her spirit. She explores in and out of the tower, looking down on the world. Nothing can stop her wide smile. The adults far below sit on seats and floor, waiting to be needed. The time comes to leave, to run towards tea, to let go of the balloon, sailing high into the sky. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Aidan. And our last open mic poet is Steve White, who's going to be reading from the work of his late wife Frances, who was a great favourite and performer of Dodo many times over many years. So please welcome Steve White.
Thank you, Patrick. Good afternoon. Yes, I'm not a poet, but I do enjoy reading my wife's poetry. Two of her poems are in this anthology, which was edited by a chap called Bob Sheed, who suddenly died a few weeks ago. So I'm reading the two poems in memory, really, of both my wife and Bob. The first one is set in the Eel Pie Rhythm and Blues Club in Twickenham. It's called Pink Fluff. A bit of pink fluff tied round a long blonde ponytail, gold ring piercing her nose, small tattoo, rose madder tights. This catwalk flamingo struts from the gloom, catching the spotlight through the tobacco smoke, gaudy, gorgeous, pulling the beery gaze of Rizzler guys old as her dad. Rhythm and blues thumps out its rumpus on the makeshift stage. Everyone moves, swings loose, forgets the day as the nightclub rocks and the beat holds sway. And we move from Twickenham, that was, to Richmond. This one's called Red Hat Band. Dashing to work, taking a shortcut over Richmond Green, birdsong puts spring in my step. A gentleman catches my eye, in cream trousers and Panama with a red band. He stops to view the listed buildings, Dome Theatre, Georgian terraces, magnolia-filled gardens, then leans on his stick to catch breath. Nearer now and clearer, his face is pale. No smile for me as he struggles to make progress on home ground, the morning stroll taxing his strength. I think of my father in his final months, wearing a checked cap for protection from the sun. This bright day, the man with the red hat band gives me pause. I'll stop rushing quite so fast to meet my deadlines.